conversation or situation as a woman in leadership? How did it go? Did it go well, or did you struggle a little bit? In this video, we're going to talk about how you can communicate under pressure as a woman in leadership. And this is a Q&A. Therefore, that means that you are welcome to ask me any questions as it relates to communicating under pressure. Whether you are a leader that is in a senior leadership type of role, maybe you are a business owner, maybe you are a public official, or in some other type of leadership category, this is going to be a great video for you. You're welcome to ask me any questions about being in those very high stakes, high pressure situations. I know it's hard, and I know that sometimes we just don't know what to do, what to say, how to say it, when to say it, where to say it, and all those things. If that's ever happened to you before, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if this ever happened to you before. It happens to the best of us, and I don't want you to feel as if you are alone and that you will never be able to master this skill. I am living proof that you can, and I've helped many of my clients do the same thing. So ask me any questions. I'm going to share with you some insights also to help you be able to start thinking about communicating under pressure differently and give you something to start with. Therefore, you want to absolutely watch this video until the end, because we're going to go over as much as we can, and you're going to learn a lot of information from this actual category. Now, I do want to say that if you are new to me, welcome. My name is Dr. Jacinta, and if you are one of my amazing subscribers, hello, friends. I hope you're doing well today. I appreciate you being here. This channel heavily focuses in on advanced communication skills and strategies. I am here to help you learn how to communicate more confidently and concisely under pressure in the role that you're in. If you are in my direct target audience that I provide executive coaching and consultation services to that are women in leadership, you're welcome to reach out to me on any social media platform that I have in the description below. And if you happen to be outside of my target audience, perhaps you are a man in leadership, or you may be someone that's not a leader just yet, but you're thinking about it, you will learn, and I guarantee you will learn some information here that will help you be able to speak and communicate at that next level that other people have not seen. And if this sounds like something you might be interested in, then you absolutely want to subscribe to this channel. I talk about advanced communication skills, high stakes communication, strategies, techniques, insights, all of the above, all of the time. This is what this channel focuses in on, and I'm here to help you become that person that can make the big impact on the world, that can generate more income for your businesses, generate more income for you personally, and help you be able to speak at a way and in a level that no one else is able to do. Now, I want to say hello to those of you who have joined today. Welcome. If you are ready to learn how to communicate under pressure, maybe you have a salary negotiation coming up, maybe you have a difficult conversation you're about to prepare for, maybe you have a very sensitive topic you have to talk about, or maybe even you may even have a presentation you're doing very soon, then let me know in the comments below. Let me know what questions you have. I'm really here to answer your questions today about this topic. I know many leaders struggle with communicating confidently under pressure, and I want to answer any questions that you have today and support you on your journey. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you all are joining from. Thank you for the heart emojis and the smiley faces and the smiley faces and the emojis. I appreciate you all so much. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you all are joining from today. And what questions do you have about communicating under pressure? This is the best place for you to be at on YouTube. Learn from my over 20 years, yes, 20 years of experience as a C-suite executive, a director, a manager, a public speaker. I have been in very friendly and very contentious situations, and I want to impart everything I know to you. If you are a woman in leadership and you are facing a high-stakes situation coming up very, very soon, I have something for you very special, but I'm going to mention it before I say anything else. I want to say hello to who is in our audience today. We have Melissa Savory 2704. Hello, Melissa. Welcome. Hope you're doing well today. I appreciate the celebration hats, the hearts, and the smiley faces, and the 100s too, friends. I appreciate that. Now, if you are at a point where you know you have some meetings prepared, you know you have some really hard conversations coming up, and you're not quite sure, well, how do I need to say it? What do I need to say? How can I communicate in a way to where I do not lose credibility? I do not lose my executive presence. I do not lose authority. I do not lose out on the opportunity to generate revenue for my business or for your organization. I have something really special for you. I am announcing or launching something very unique. It is called a 15-minute high stakes communication assessment. This is an opportunity for you and I to have a brief conversation about your specific situation you have going on. You'll have the opportunity to role play with me a bit. I'll give you some insights in terms of how you can strengthen your message or what you may need to modify so that you can make that big impact that you need to make and not miss out on any opportunities or opportunities to generate additional income. This is something I'm offering complimentary. Complimentary, meaning there is no fee with it. I just want to support you. But I'm only doing it for the first 10 women that signed up for it. Now, there is one caveat to that. Even though my audience focuses heavily on women in leadership and helping them, I have a lot of people that are in my audience that consistently support my YouTube channel that are men in leadership or people that are not quite sure if they want to go into leadership or not. I'm going to open an additional 5 slots for those individuals because I'm here to support you any way that I can. Let me know what questions you have, and if this is something you are interested in and you know you need to enhance how you're communicating. Maybe you are in a more visible role right now. People are watching you. You are in front of everyone. This is something you want to start working on before you transition into that next role so that you can start off on the absolute, not the great foot, not a good foot, the best foot that you can when you're starting these new roles. Now, let me know what questions you have about communicating under pressure. I'm here to support you any way that I can. I'll give you a couple insights that have helped me to learn how to communicate under pressure over the past 20 years. There's a few things. Let me say this. There's a lot of ways to communicate under pressure, and a lot of it comes down to you being able to get some support. I will share with you what I'm sharing with you has been mistakes that I have made, that I have learned, that either helped me or did not help me to communicate under pressure when those very high stakes situations occurred. And I want to make sure that you learn from my mistakes. If you're not able to get some support or some guidance or some insights in terms of how to speak, how to navigate, how do you address these issues in a very professional way without letting your emotions get control of you, just contact me. Let me know. Now, one of the things that comes up oftentimes that I see as being an issue when people tend to struggle, leaders specifically, when they are in these very high stakes, high pressure situations, is that they are not, or they struggle with being able to identify when a specific conversation, a specific situation, a specific scenario is going under pressure. Now, you may be wondering, what am I referring to? There are certain times, there are certain flags, there are certain gestures, observations that will tell you when you're about to go under pressure. Most of the time, depending on your situation, if you're a public official, you may be in a situation where you just immediately, they're going under pressure and you don't have any notice whatsoever. But for the most part, most of us, we have an idea in terms of what our meetings are about and what the meetings are going to be involved in terms of the topic, the discussion, etc. Sometimes you'll be caught off guard, and that's what I want to help you with today. Now, when these situations come up, as I mentioned, sometimes people just are not able to pick up on those very subtle cues when a conversation is about to go under pressure. Some of the cues that I notice when conversations go under pressure are very, very heavily focused on your facial expressions or body language. If you are meeting with someone and you notice that they are doing facial expressions that either one are a bit different than what they normally do. I talk about this a lot on my channel in terms of knowing your baseline and etc. Or maybe two, you find yourself in a situation where their facial expressions automatically or universally, I will say, indicate that there's about to be a challenge here. This is what you really want to focus on. The eyebrows are a very good sign for you to focus on. A lot of times when people are engaged with you, they may lift their eyebrows up in excitement, depending on what is being said. Or they may lift their eyebrows up in disbelief. It just depends on what's being said. Or they may scowl. They may look and you see their eyebrows go in. Those are universal signs that this conversation is potentially going under pressure. You have to be very, very observant. And this is the one mistake that people make. Now, I want to know from you, what questions do you all have as it relates to communicating under pressure? Let me know in the comments below. Let's talk about it. Let me know what situation you have been in where you experienced a lot of pressure and how did you navigate it? Let's talk about it so our entire community can learn how to navigate these situations. Facial expressions are important. Pay attention to people's eyebrows. Pay attention to their mouths in terms of what their mouths are doing. Many times I have noticed that when a conversation is about to go under pressure, people will try their best, and I'm sharing with you secrets here. People will try their best to contain themselves unless they're just an individual that just has a hard time doing that. Most people, when they're upset, I say most, not all, but most people, when they're upset or they're frustrated or annoyed, they have, one, not subscribed to my YouTube channel. Let me say that first. They have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, which is why I'm sharing these secrets, these strategies, these techniques with you. But they haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel. Most of the time, people are going to try to do something with their lips. They may cause their lips to maybe frown, or they may purse their lips like they know they want to say something, but they're trying to be polite and not say it. Or they may just make a smirk. You have to be very observant. I have found that the eyebrows and the lips, believe it or not, will tell you the big picture and tell you the story. Sometimes their actual body language in terms of their facial expressions will tell you a lot. Their actual physical, the big gestures, I would say, the ones I shared with you are very subtle gestures. But the big gestures, sometimes people will cross their arms, or they may put their hand on the hip. I know you can't see me because I'm sitting down. They may shift gait. They may just kind of move because their body is not trained to contain themselves when they're upset. Therefore, you will be able to very easily pick up on when a conversation is going under pressure, because if you can be that person that is highly observant and that pays attention to what I mentioned to you, eyebrows, see what their eyebrows are doing, their facial expressions, the lower third of their face, what is it doing? What are they saying? What are the big movements that they're making? This will tell you a lot of information about this conversation and if it's going in the right direction or if it's going in the wrong direction. It will tell you a lot. And I want to know from you, which of those strategies or insights that I share with you, which one was your favorite? Which one did you like the most? Let me know in the comments below. Both of those are actually my favorite. Now, as I mentioned, I'm sharing this with you. I have made mistakes, so many of them. I don't want you all to make the same mistakes that I made. I have found that when I started to be a lot more observant as a senior leader, and I'm sharing this with you from me having the background of being in those friendly and contentious situations. I've been a public speaker for over 20 years. This type of strategy will absolutely help you to start learning how to read people a bit better, which in turn will help you learn how to communicate under pressure. And as I mentioned at the very beginning, for those of you who are joining, welcome. Glad you're here today. Let me know what questions you have about communicating under pressure. What are you dealing with? What have you dealt with? What are you struggling with? Let's talk about it today. At the very beginning of this video, for those of you who just joined, I mentioned to you that one of the biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to communicating under pressure is not recognizing or not noticing when a conversation is going under pressure. Now, I mentioned to you just a few moments ago about the facial expressions, and I would honestly say, if I had to put them in order, and thank you for the heart emojis, if I had to put them in order of what's most important for you to determine, okay, this conversation is going under pressure, the facial expressions is probably my number one aspect of someone's communication style that I would observe. And I mentioned to you, sometimes people, and as I mentioned, they're not trained like you are being trained right now. They're just not. So they're not going to have that edge to know how to control themselves when these situations come up. So they're just going to act the way their body tells them to act. But their facial expressions will tell you a lot. Another mistake I see that people make, and I want to say hello to Heidi L. Taylor. I hope I said it correctly. Hello, welcome, welcome. Thank you for the heart emojis. Let me know what part of Big Beautiful World you all are joining from today. And have you ever been in an under pressure situation, a hard conversation, anything along those lines? Let me know in the comments below. We have Cat 23rd. Hello, welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well today. And yes, so I mentioned specifically about the facial expressions. That's going to tell you a lot when your conversation is going under pressure. All you have to do is be observant and pay attention. Now, one of the challenges I've seen that comes up when people struggle with this part of it is that you may have too much going on in your mind. You might be tired. You may not be just tired. You may be exhausted. You may have another fire that you need to deal with pretty quickly. You're not able to really focus on what's being said. You just may not have that mental bandwidth to process what's going on. That's okay. Take a moment to just relax and just observe. Sometimes when you are exhausted as a leader, I've been exhausted, I've been tired, I've been so tired where I can't even think straight. Okay, we've all been there as leaders. Let me know in the comments below, have you been there? I've been there multiple times, too many times to count. But if I take a moment and just turn my mind off and I say, okay, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I can't focus, I'm just going to watch and just observe. That will help you out tremendously, even on those days when you're tired, because you'll still be able to pick up on what's being said, and you may actually do a better job with it because you're tired, because you actually are doing nothing. You don't have to necessarily say anything. You're just processing and looking to see what's actually going on. So facial expressions are important. The other thing I want to share with you briefly is that the tone of voice is important too. As I mentioned, the biggest mistake that people make when they are dealing with under pressure situations is that they are not able, and thank you for the heart emojis, they are not able to determine or pick up very quickly or be discerning that this conversation is going under pressure. Facial expressions are important. Tone of voice is important too. Now, if you're talking to someone, and let me know if you've ever experienced this, if you're talking to someone or speaking with another person on your teams, in your businesses, or etc., and you notice that their tone of voice changes, do you pick up on it pretty quickly? Let me know in the comments below. And thank you for the heart emojis. Let me know if you pick up on it pretty quickly. I do, because it's easier for us to pick up on this type of change with people that we communicate with, because we're speaking to them every single day, all the time. And we start to develop what I talk about on my channel. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, this is where you're going to learn these skills and these secrets I'm sharing with you. You will start to learn their baseline, meaning that you start to observe how this person communicates consistently all the time. They may have a higher voice. They may speak lower. They may speak softer. They may speak slower. It doesn't matter. You start to learn their baseline. And therefore, when you start to hear the voice change, let's say their baseline is here and their voice goes way up or way down, then you know, wait, something is different here. What's going on? You just keep that in the back of your mind, because that could indicate a conversation could be going under pressure. Let me know if this information is helping you all to think about how to communicate at a higher level a bit differently. That's my mission here. I truly believe that people become great by how they communicate. And my mission here on this earth is really to unlock the greatness within you. And the only way I can help you to do that is to share with you how you can communicate under pressure. Many people, there are tons of people out there. There's tons of YouTube channels that talk about this is what you say, this is how you say it, and etc. Well, those are all wonderful. And I do that myself as well. However, what happens when your conversation goes under pressure? Suddenly, and you're not expecting it. That's why you come to this channel, because I focus heavily on those situations, because that I have found is a gap where people are not talking about What happens when someone starts to yell at you? You just freeze up. What happens when someone is trying to challenge you? Do you freeze? That's why I'm here. I'm here to give you my expertise and share with you what has been successful to me and my clients. You may be wondering, how do I know all this? You have no idea what kind of conversations I've been a part of for me to know how to do it. Many times when you're working with certain individuals or watching channels, they may give you information, and thank you for the heart emojis. They may give you information or insight and guidance, and there's nothing wrong with it, okay? There's still basics of communication that we all have to know, but they give it to you from this very high level, I would say. High level meaning that they probably have worked with people specifically that have been in those situations and given them some guidance, but they may have not been in those very, very, very challenging situations to where they can give you real world strategies, real world techniques to really help you actually implement what you learned immediately today. Okay, so that's something just to keep in mind. But as I mentioned, your baseline for that individual you're speaking with, your tone of voice is really important to help you determine, is this conversation going under pressure or not? Now, one more thing I want to share with you. If you are speaking to someone that you've never spoken to before, ever in your life, and you are trying to determine, is this situation going under pressure? Is this conversation going under pressure or not? You have to think of the universal signs of pressure. What are the universal signs of pressure? Let me know in the comments below. If you were talking to someone and having a conversation with a peer or with individual you may not know that well, or someone maybe you've met the first time, what would be a sign that you would say that could potentially come up in a conversation where you would think to yourself, I think this is going under pressure? What would it be? Let's talk about it. Put it in the comments below. Let me know what you think. What are some signs that you would see? Would it be their tone of voice? Would it be the way they look at you? What would it be? Let me know in the comments below. I will share with you a couple of just very, very, very quick insights that are universal for a conversation that is going under pressure. Okay. And if you have some that you want to add, let me know. Please put them in the comments. If you're watching the replay, put them in the comments below, because I want our community to grow. I have a lot of insights. I've been doing a lot. I am not the wizard. I'm not God. I do not have all answers to all questions in the planet. However, collectively, as a community, we can learn a lot from each other, regardless of where we are, what country we're from, and where we live. We've all been in those situations. So I really do want to know from you all, so that when individuals are watching the replays of these videos, that they are able to gain additional insights from across the world as to what are some signs that may tell you a conversation is going under pressure. A couple of universal signs, regardless of where you are in the world, would be someone raising their voice. That's like an automatic, somebody's going to raise your voice and say, hey, this is something I'm upset about. If someone raises their voice at you, you automatically know this conversation is going under pressure. It's not, unless they're at a hockey game or something like that here in the States, or a soccer game or a football game or something like that, and they're having a good time. If someone is talking to you and they just suddenly raise their voice, automatically, you're going to go under pressure, pretty much. Okay, I want to say hello to Jasmine O1K. Hello, Jasmine. How you doing today? Welcome, welcome. Jasmine says, greetings, Dr. Lamentai and everyone. Well, hello and welcome, Jasmine. Glad you're here and appreciate you being here. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from today and what questions you have about speaking better and communicating under pressure as a woman in leadership. Raising someone's voice is a very universal way to know this conversation is going immediately under pressure. Now, what are some other maybe subtle gestures that are somewhat universal? And before I do that, Cat 23rd says, hey, Jasmine. Well, I appreciate that. And I'm so glad you all are communicating. This is what the community is about, interacting with each other, saying hello. You all attend lives, and I want to support you in a way that I can. And I want you all to get to know each other too. Thank you for the heart emojis. I appreciate you all. What are some other subtle ways, subtle gestures? What do you all think? And Jasmine gives a wave back to Cat 23rd. Okay, awesome. I absolutely love that. What are some subtle gestures? What do you all think in the comments Let me know, what are some things to you, if it happened to you, you would immediately say, oh, this conversation is going in the wrong direction. Let me know. Let's talk about it in the comments below. So raising your voice is pretty universal. Someone raise your voice at you, you know this is probably going to go under pressure. That's your one time. What are some subtle gestures, though, that make you think a conversation is going under pressure? Another one, I would say, outside of your eyebrows, as I talked about, your eyebrows and your lips will tell it all. They will tell quite a bit if your conversation is going under pressure. This is for someone that you don't know, right? Jasmine says facial expression. Yes. So facial expressions will tell you if a conversation is going under pressure. There's some universal ones we somewhat talked about earlier. If someone is frowning and their eyebrows go down, that's automatically going to tell you that this conversation is going under pressure. Cat 23rd says facial expression changes. Yes, absolutely. What are some other changes that you all have noticed? I talked about your eyebrows. I've talked about the lips. What's another one? There's another one that we might want to talk about as it relates to facial expressions. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll share it with you in just a second. But I'm going to talk about a few other universal ones you want to think about. Another very subtle, sometimes universal, I would say, communication that will tell you a conversation is going under pressure will be the way someone is looking at you. How they look at you plays a big part into this. And I'm not saying that if someone's staring at you, you have no idea if they're going under pressure. But sometimes you'll see the eyebrows change. But then if you look around their actual eyes, their orbits, you're looking, you may see their eyes start to squint just a little bit, when someone is just like, they are trying to process what you're saying. They're not quite sure what you're saying, or they might be angry. I've noticed that your eyes will actually tell a lot. Not only your eyebrows, but your eyes will too. So you want to watch out for that. That's a universal sign that something's going on, potentially. We talked about facial expressions. That's very important. We've talked about tone of voice. Yelling is universal. Yelling is universal. Someone yells, it's going under pressure immediately. Another thing, we talked about those larger body movements. So crossing of arms, hand on their hip, maybe they're starting to shift gait a little bit or feel uncomfortable. I also want to mention to you how someone's eye contact is with you can also tell a lot too. Now on this channel, I focus heavily on eye contact. If you're new to this channel, if you want to learn how to start mastering eye contact, a good video for you to watch are any videos I have on my channel that talk about eye contact specifically. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, but look out for eye contact videos in my topic specifically when I talk about it as it relates to the cowboy. The cowboy is my analogy to help you master eye contact. Take a look at it, and if you are at that point as a woman in leadership and you need some support, then contact me for the complimentary 15-minute high-stakes communication assessment that I mentioned to you that I'm giving to the first 10 women that sign up for it. It's a basically a free assessment on how you communicate in those under pressure situations. That will be via Zoom. So let me know if you're interested in either comments, contact me on Instagram or on LinkedIn as well. As I mentioned, your eyes are really important. They're really important to pay attention to. Your body language. If someone is struggling to make eye contact with you, sometimes people, that may not necessarily be automatically that this situation is going to go under pressure, but it could tell you a lot. A lot of times when people start to look away at you when you're talking to them and it's someone you do not know, it's telling you that they're uncomfortable with this conversation. That's a very subtle gesture, very, very subtle. People a lot of times will not pay attention to it. Why? Because most of the time people are not comfortable with eye contact. I've said this a couple times on my channel, and for those of you that are new, welcome, welcome. Glad you're here today. There's a couple things people struggle with, and I would say thank you for the smiley faces and the heart emojis. There's three things that people struggle with as it relates to communication: eye contact, silence, and facial expressions. Those are three things that people really do struggle with when they're speaking. Therefore, if you happen to be a woman in leadership, or maybe you are in a role where you're the first woman, the only woman, or one of a few women, those three categories, those three strategies, characteristics, gestures, You want to master those, because if you do not know how to master them, it will make it very difficult for you to be able to convey yourself in a very polished, executive way and establish your executive presence. I say this because let's think about it. If majority of the people in the world struggle with these three aspects of communication, how much more amazing, put together, accomplished will you be perceived as if you can master those three? As I mentioned, most people struggle with them. How many of you have struggled with eye contact? I used to struggle with it. Facial expressions, I used to struggle with it. I used to struggle with all of these. That's why I'm sharing them with you. But if you can really master those three, eye contact, facial expressions, and silence, you will be automatically put ahead compared to everybody else. Jasmine says silence. Yes, silence is one. I appreciate you sharing that, Jasmine. Silence is one people struggle with. Let me tell you why, Jasmine, people struggle with silence. One, there's a lot of videos on my channel that talk about silence. So if you take a look at any of those, if you're new to me or new to the channel, I have literally over 950 short form, long form, live videos here. But take some time and look at the live tab. That's where most of the things are happening. But the reason, Jasmine, people struggle with silence that I have found just over the past 20 years in these senior level executive leadership roles is that people are just simply uncomfortable with silence. There's something about silence that makes us feel odd. It feels like the conversation ended. I don't know what to say. I don't know when to say it. It feels like the conversation needs to continue, but there's this wall that just occurred, or this boundary that said, I'm stopping. I'm not going to speak for a second. It just feels unnatural. But Jasmine, I'll tell you that this is an actual strategy that you can develop and you can start learning how to master. There's a couple things I tell my clients in a one-on-one or in a group session is that when you are thinking about being silent, be silent strategically and consistently. Silence is one of those skills where you have to practice it. It's something you have to practice not once, not twice, not 3 times or 4. I'm talking about hundreds of times, because you have to train your mind to say, it's okay if I stop talking now. And it's okay if it's silent. It's something that you can master. So Jasmine, even if you are struggling or have struggled with silence, it's a skill you practice. And you're always welcome to reach out to me in the description or in the comments below or on LinkedIn or Instagram. If you want to try to master and get some insight on silence, we can definitely practice that on a complimentary 15-minute high-stakes communication assessment that I'm doing this week. All right, Jasmine says, I greatly appreciate you. I will definitely watch your previous videos. Absolutely. I would say good fundamental videos to watch on the channel, Jasmine. And these are videos that I just tell everyone that are good baselines for you to start. If you are at the point and you're a woman in leadership and you're learning about the channel or you're thinking about subscribing to the channel, there's a couple things that will give you some insight to start working with to help you communicate in those very challenging under pressure situations. You may be in a salary negotiation, you may be in an interview, you may be presenting to a board, you may be a public official speaking to an audience, you may be doing a big presentation to a group of individuals, you may be talking to a small group, and it's a very high stakes situation where a lot is on the line, the pressure is real. Any videos that talk about managing your emotions under pressure, Jasmine, eye contact, controlling your facial expressions, your tone of voice, and confidence will give you some insight in terms of how you can start building that foundation to be able to communicate in those very challenging situations. I guarantee you'll learn something out of it. There's a lot of videos on my channel. Typically, if you watch my live videos, you may have to watch them at the beginning and then you'll see me interact with the audience and we'll talk a bit more. So sometimes you have to skip through a bit, but it would definitely give you some insights for sure. All right, the Warriorettes, Drill Team 1448. Welcome, friend. Welcome back. Good to see you. How are you doing today? Good to see you. So we've talked about a couple insights, and I appreciate Jasmine and Cat 23rd giving some really good insights and suggestions about what are some universal aspects of communication that we need to be really mindful of if we are trying to determine when a conversation is going under pressure. Both of them talked about facial expressions, and that is something that's very important. I appreciate the heart emojis. Thank you so much. And as I mentioned from the very beginning, the reason people struggle with communicating under pressure as women in leadership, as men in leadership, is because we do not take the moment to take the time to recognize that this conversation is going under pressure. Most of the time, what happens, this happens whether you're a woman or a man in leadership, is that what happens? We're caught off guard. We're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that this was going to be said. I don't know what to say. That's usually the first response that comes up. I don't know what to say. Have you ever said that? I've said that many years ago. I don't say that anymore until just now, but we usually will say, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say means I'm just completely just thrown off. I had no idea. I'm completely caught off guard and you caught me. Well, watching these videos, working with me or having a conversation with me, you will not be in that situation. There's a lot of videos on here that will help you not be in that situation. So spend some time looking at the channel. Feel free to share it with your colleagues or your friends to help as many people as we can be able to communicate at that higher level. I don't want you to be caught off guard. And there's different strategies I share on my channel specifically, and I do with my clients in a one-on-one or in a group setting, to give them some tools and strategies. When someone asks you a question and you're completely caught off guard, because it happens. It happens to the best of us. I give you strategies and techniques. I talk about this on my channel at length, what you can do to be able to respond back, to buy yourself time to think. That's what it comes down to. You have to buy yourself time to think. And if you're struggling with thinking on your feet and you're not sure how to do it, that's why you reach out to me. There's only but so much I can give you on my YouTube channel. I give a ton of information to help you because I know many of you are in different parts of the world and we may never actually be able to work with each other specifically because I'm based out of here in the United States. But I want to help you any way that I can. If you're in my direct target audience of women in leadership, I'm here to support you on your journey. If you are a man in leadership or you are someone that's thinking about leadership, you're not quite sure just yet, there is a wealth of information. You're learning from over 20 years worth of mistakes that I've made, aspects of my life that I have accelerated in because I didn't have guidance or mentorship during that time until I became more of a seasoned professional. So I want to really help you all. I know leadership is hard. I know it's hard out there for anyone in leadership, but I know women in leadership are really struggling in different aspects too. And a lot of times as women, we are just now transitioning into these executive level roles, business owners, and etc. If you look at our history, years ago, we were working in factories. We transitioned to switchboards. Then we went into the more admin clerical type of role. Then we went into healthcare. And now we're in some of those very much executive level roles. We're managing countries and all those type of things. So we just have not been in that setting for that long. And so we have just a bit to learn. And that's why I'm here to help you. Jasmine says, thank you for giving me direction. You are making a huge difference. I need this. Absolutely, Jasmine. Definitely take a look at a couple of my videos. Really, if you're working with silence, there's several videos on my channel that talk about silence. It just depends on the timing that you have. Some of them may be shorter, they may be 20 minutes, and some of them may be longer. It just depends on the live. And that's why I'm here to support you all on the lives, because sometimes it depends on our engagement and interactions we have. They go longer, they go shorter. It just really depends. I'm here to support you all. So if you see a live that is an hour long, then you may just want to skim through it a bit. But there may be other lives that I try to do that are a bit shorter, depending on your time in terms of what you want to learn about the topic and etc. But if you're working on silence, I have a lot of videos on silence to help you be able to start learning how to master that. Cat 23rd says, agree with Jasmine, this is life-changing. Well, Cat, I appreciate that. And I hope you all subscribe to the channel. I do go live relatively consistently. I would say, I don't know the whole world of YouTube. Hopefully I'll learn it at some point. But I'm probably in the category of the people that go live the most. The reason I say that is because I typically go live at least, I would say, let's see, 2, 4, 6, at least 6 to 8 times a week, if that makes sense. I've had a conversation with other individuals that are on YouTube that have millions of followers that do not go live like that. And I have been live so much last year that YouTube invited me to be a part of their YouTuber live streamer research panel, where I've been giving YouTube insights in terms of how to live stream and giving my perspective over the past year. And I will be finishing up in May of this year. But I do go live streaming quite a bit, and the interactions I have are really important. Sometimes I tell my audiences too, especially for Jasmine and for Cat 23rd as well. The Warrior Edge Drill Team has been here many times, so I don't have to tell them that. But as we grow, the channel grows, so do the trolls. They do. I've seen a definite increase in trolling activity as the audience grows and my subscribers grow. So sometimes you just have to be mindful. There may be people that say offensive things. I will handle them as quickly as I can. They may say things inappropriate. I hide them from the channel. So just bear with me. This is a part of live streaming. I tell people, I was just talking to a referral partner earlier today. When you live stream on YouTube, every platform is different. So let me say that. So this is for everybody, just for FYI. If you're live streaming on LinkedIn is a very friendly platform. No one's going to give you a hard time on LinkedIn. They're just going to ask you questions and learn. Instagram, same. You may have your people on Instagram that are going to ask you to give them millions of dollars because they don't have anything, or they're doing something else. But you may get occasional spammers, but for the most part, people are trying to learn. On YouTube is the wild, wild west, as we say here in the States. YouTube is literally the wild, wild west. And I say that because you have no idea what comments are coming. Are they friendly? Are they unfriendly? And how to respond. And that's the reason why I share this with you now, because all of the strategies I'm sharing with you in terms of determining if a conversation is going under pressure, I have to do that in real time when I'm watching the chat, because I have people that say some really offensive and inappropriate things, and I have to take care of them as quickly as I can. I'm going to make a couple playlists, because I know sometimes you just need to see someone handle under pressure situations. I'm going to make a playlist. I'm going to work on it so quickly, hopefully. It's just I have so many videos. I have a lot of content out here. But I'm going to try to find out the snippets or the segments of my lives where the conversation has went under pressure. Because sometimes, and let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are, sometimes you don't know how to handle something unless you see somebody do it. And so I don't want to be the person that says, I'm telling you what to do, I'm telling you what to do. Even though a lot of my audience has applied what they have learned, they've gotten promotions at their jobs, they've been able to manage hard situations. I have actually had some really good results here on my lives just by me talking and sharing my insights. But sometimes you need to see how do people handle pressure in a very professional way. So I'm going to try to bring out a couple of those videos and put them onto a playlist so you can see in real time when I have those offensive comments or someone says something completely ridiculous. I want you to see how I handle it and I address it. If it's completely ridiculous, I will not say anything. But if it's something I feel that will benefit you to learn how do you deal with pressure situations, I'll make sure I do a playlist. It's just going to take me a little while because I've had so many situations like that come up where I have to try to listen to my lives again and put those in a separate playlist. But I'm going to work on it just for you all, because I believe that will help you, whether you're in my target audience as a woman in leadership or you are not in my target audience. I believe everybody will learn from that. Jasmine says, I understand. Absolutely. And I'm glad that you're here, Jasmine. Welcome, welcome. And Cat 23rd and the Warrior S Jill team is here all the time. So I'm so glad that you are here. Let me know how I can support you. As you're looking through the videos on my channel, and if anything comes up for you and you think to yourself, I want to learn more information about that. How do I handle this? I have this situation that I'm dealing with. Just put it, text on your phone, put it in the comments, put it in the comments below on the video, and I will respond to you. And depending on the depth that is needed, I will do a video just for you and give you a shout out in the video as well to talk about the topic specifically. It just depends on how much I need to go into it. Feel free to talk to me about anything, especially as it relates to the hard situations that you're experiencing as leaders or in your careers and etc. People come to me typically for the really hard situations, the hard conversations, the situations you don't want to deal with, the conversations you don't want to have. That's my expertise. I will help you find out a way to have a conversation and make it a very positive one as best as you can. So that's my expertise. That's why I'm here to help you. But let me know what questions you have. I shared with you just a couple of mistakes I've seen people make. And as I mentioned at the very beginning, the number one mistake that people make when they're trying to learn how to communicate better under pressure is that they are not able to recognize when a conversation is going under pressure. Therefore, they will end up being caught off guard, and therefore they will look like they don't know what they're talking about, and people will see that, especially if you're in those very highly visible roles. People will see it and they'll say, she doesn't know what he's talking about, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And if you're subscribed to this channel, that is not going to happen. I do not want that for you, and I will do what I can to make sure you're better equipped to master this. There's only so much I can do with you via a group. So if you need some support and you need that personalized, that customized interaction with me and you, then just contact me on any social media platform. I'm here to support you any way that I can. I appreciate you all so much, and I'm glad to see you all here. Feel free to subscribe and share it with your colleagues or your friends, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.